Hey, ADHD fam. Are you tired of regular energy drinks? Do you need a pick-me-up that won't make you crash or give you the jitters? Zoom on over to Dubby Energy. They are a clean energy drink company that was created with you in mind. These powdered drinks will give you no crash, no jitters, and no angst like many other energy drinks out there. They are a US-based company that doesn't hide what's in their products. Pick up one of their tubs of powder to help energize your day. They have a lot of fun flavors and even some licensed ones with solo leveling. Each serving comes out to about $1 per drink, which is much cheaper than getting Starbucks, Dunkin', or any other canned energy drinks. And with our promo code, you can save 10%. Use code ADHDubby at checkout to save some green. That's ADHDUBBY. Check it out in the show notes below. Pick up your tub today and stay energized.
This episode's intro and outro music was brought to you by Solar Bloom with the title, It's a Tiny World. Check them out on Apple Music, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your music. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to this very special mini episode of the ADHD podcast. This is your boy, Rob.
And it's your boy, Steve. How you doing, everybody out there in the multiverse, the interverse, the interwebs,
The worlds.
whatever the hell we're talking about. The webs. How are you in the webs?
The webs, yes.
And the airwaves.
So,
I guess
guys, what?
would we still be on the airwaves?
Yeah.
If we're going through, like, streaming platforms, is that still the airwaves?
Yeah, sound always goes through air.
I think I just broke my own brain before starting an episode. Sorry, everybody. There's a reason it's going to be a mini-sode today, and we're tired.
Yeah, right. So, guys, today, our mini episode, we're diving in just because we are diving into physical media. And I bring up this as a mini episode today because of the recent news that's been going on with Sony and what they're deeming or what they seem like they're going to be doing right now in stopping production of physical media by January 2028. At least that's for PlayStation platforms. But if this trend, I know, and if the trend continues, though, you could easily see how this would dip into their film rights and other properties that they own. I can only imagine it's going to get harder and harder for people to get physical media. And we need to make sure people know why it's so important to get your hands on stuff still.
Oh, yes. I'm a longtime person that has bought into a lot of, the Sony stuff that they do because they have really innovated in the past with, their gaming systems, how they do, their games in general and different engines for, stuff that is just based on or that is exclusively on, the PlayStation systems. And overall, I've been, kind of happy with how Sony has been doing stuff in, the past. And there's a reason why I've owned everything from a PlayStation 2 all the way up to a PlayStation 5.
And I know this is going to come across to some people as old man get off my lawn kind of thing, but it holds true to us at least because we're both in the same vein. I was a PlayStation kid all my life, and that's what makes this all the more sad because they were the company that was, I still remember that commercial they made. I guess it was for PlayStation 2 or 3 where it was like, hey, this is how you get a game. This is how you share it with your friend. And it was literally just pass it off to him. Have him.
I think that was PlayStation 2.
It's so sad to see that out of all of the companies that would want to embrace that side and embrace the physical media side. They just turn their nose to it. So it's kind of, at least to me, a little sad to see.
Oh, it's very sad to see. Like, I'm probably not going to look into getting a PS6 when that comes out next year, unless there's like a hard press game that I'm like, okay, I kind of need this in my life. But that's getting less and less for non-Nintendo games. And by non-Nintendo games, I mean non-Legend of Zelda games.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, at this point, it's getting bad. And these big companies like Sony are shifting away from physical media, and it's again, it's a trend. It's not something that's kind of been foreign. We've seen it for a while at this point, but it just seems like the divide between how people are getting their media now versus even 10 years ago is remarkable in terms of getting physical
even
media.
5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And
like,
you see,
during the pandemic, it was annoying to. It seemed like a lot of companies were switching over to being more digital based because you had the Xbox Series whatever and the PlayStation 5 when they came out being like, hey, you can still get it with a disc drive if you want, or hear us out, you can just have everything digitally, like Steam and stuff like that. And like, don't get me wrong, I like what.
Yeah, exactly.
I like what
the
Steam does, and I like a lot of the games that come out. That some of them are just brain farting, that are just like, online based, or just they never came out with a physical copy. But at the same time, like, I like that idea of a physical copy. I still try to buy as many games that I can physically. I still buy CDs when I go to concerts, or hell, you can even call me an old man with this. I buy records, people.
We have a record player too, actually. Yeah.
For the ones that don't know what a record is, it's the thing that came before CDs that was big and round and not a laser disc.
But you know what? I honestly understand it a little bit why companies are trying to embrace the digital distribution. It's a lot easier to get away with certain things and not pay artists the right amounts or do necessarily the right things, or because, as everybody kind of is well aware at this point, the streaming distribution and the revenue people get from that is very, very not correct.
It is pittance compared to what they used to be able to get.
And it's making it cheaper for these bigger companies to want to do that, right? It's the ease for the consumer to go ahead and say, you know what, I can just download this to my phone or stream it over the web and call it a day. And I understand all of that. I do understand why companies would want to try to at least shift away from the physical media. But think about it from a consumer perspective, too. These digital storefronts, like going into some of these games now, and I hear it a lot, especially in my realm with enjoying college football, especially the newest release, 2027, where there's so many complaints that they're adding micro purchases into these games. You're already spending 50, 60, 75, 90, 125 bucks for these packages. Now you're telling me I need to spend 50 to just make the game easy enough for me to try and understand to play for the first go around? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
There are a lot of games out there that are rushed through development, that are brought out and that are sold, and then there are day one patches. And I'm looking at things like Modern Warfare, or I'm looking at some, as much as I love Nintendo, some of the Nintendo like Mario sports games that have day one patches, or hey, here's the base game. We're going to, sell DLC on the side that was supposed to be a part of the game, but we're going to make you buy it.
Yeah.
Or just stupid things. And, if you buy the physical copy, you still need to buy the DLC for it. There's it's not everything all bundled in one.
And it makes you kind of start to think about a couple of different things, right? In terms of, if I don't own that piece of physical media and, the people that are like, the apocalypse crazy, the world's going to shut down, there's no Wi-Fi. What happens if that does actually happen? You don't have any way to access that data or info ever again, and you're sitting on it. And I'm talking about this more so in this context, in a film, TV, whatever kind of arena, but it holds.
I mean,
true.
we saw this happen with, HBO when we did our whole WB is evil.
Yeah,
because
for
they
taking
want
one of their
monies.
Looney Tunes properties and then having Tubi, of all people, come in and save the day with free distribution, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, which is so important in terms of why physical media is so damn important. But
yeah. And I know a lot of companies are out there trying to push get people to buy less physical media. I look at Nintendo, how there's a $10 difference between buying a game physically versus buying it digitally. And you saw that with even as recent as the new Star Fox game that just recently came out, that you could buy it digitally for $50, or you could buy it physically for $60. So that $10 price point for getting the physical thing, that's what I may look into eventually to see if it ever goes on sale, because I played the demo. It's a ton of fun. It's Star Fox 64, only with so much better graphics and really fun cutscenes. But at the same time, I'm like, why you gotta do this? Why you gotta have the price difference? Why do we have to have
tiers to it? Why is it gotta be like this? And then the main thing that I always ask is do we actually own the stuff that we're buying anymore, or are we just kind of renting it to get the access to it anymore?
Oh, it's definitely a renting to get the access, because look at something like the Halo series, where I'm gonna go off a little bit and be weird about the Halo series. I never really played a lot of stuff for that, but when you physically own the game, you could play the campaign and you could enjoy going back and play the games. But the one thing that everybody really loved about the Halo series, besides the immersive world that you were in, was the online play. And Halo 2 was seen as one of the best online experiences outside of the community, because that community became very toxic very quick. But it helped grow a lot of
what
industries
gaming is now.
You look at Machinima, and you look at old Rooster Teeth before they had to shut their doors, and when they were doing Red versus Blue, all of that was shot online in the multiplayer settings. And when those servers went down, when Xbox said, hey, we're done with this, nobody could get access to those anymore. And it's the same thing with a lot of the online games that we have at even our single player. Once those get shut down, the servers, you can't go online anymore to play the game, or don't have it physically, don't have the physical copy that on the cartridges where everything is, you can't play the games. And it's why?
What is
why
the
do
point
you hate
of this?
Me so much?
Exactly. And then to top all of this off, right, we talk about it in the terms of gaming right now and what Sony has done, but you know that this is going to affect streaming, of course, and the rising cost of streaming is another big deterrent for a lot of people right now, and seeing the sort of shift online, at least on my end, that people are really diving back into trying to collect physical media, because at the end of the day, it's like old school cable, where you're spending at least, if you have, I'm trying to think about it, right? All of the streaming services at all the highest subscriptions. You've got Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Apple TV, Crunchyroll, Amazon Prime.
Did you say Netflix?
Netflix. You're gonna be spending
You've got at least 10 different streaming services that you're looking at. And even if you just get the base for all of them, which ranges from $5.99 a month to $12.99 a month, depending on which streaming platform that you're looking at, that's hundreds of dollars a year to almost thousands of dollars worth a year.
It's actually insane, the amount that people spend.
And yet the streaming services still aren't happy, so they're going, we're going to have ads now to get more money from you. And
I mean, I
those
remember...
of you who are listening to this and not watching it, guess what? You can't watch it. And I just flipped off Rob because that's how I'm feeling about the executives.
And I remember Hulu originally, and when I say originally, I'm saying probably in the span of like 12 to 13 years ago, so not recently, but to me, recently enough. I remember when Hulu wasn't as crazy to buy here, and it wasn't as crazy with the ads and how... I'm not going to share how much I spend on my Hulu bill, but that's the most expensive streaming service that I have now.
Yeah, either Apple or YouTube might be my most expensive one.
But and it just goes to show that, and the other thing that's going to bother people to no end is just the amount of going back and forth, just like we were saying with the Warner Brothers and why they suck in terms of getting rid of their Looney Tunes property. Now you have people going back and forth, diving and going, okay, where do I find my favorite show? Where do I find Looney Tunes old school? Where do I find Animaniacs? Where do I go find, I don't know, something a little bit more obscure, Duckman? Why, like... It makes it so much harder for a normal consumer, not a freak like you and me who happen to know who've made these things and paying attention to it, but the average modern consumer at home, sitting there, diving in between these 10 different streaming platforms to no end, trying to figure out just who has it, and then again... A lot of these people are doubling down and still spending on their cable bill as well, so I can only imagine in a normal, modern American household how much you're spending on just viewing entertainment in the home.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely stupid. And, like, even not everything's on the streaming services. Like, I recently got a physical copy of this, and probably one of my more obscure things that I own, but not the most obscure thing that I own, in my collection is I have the animated series for The Legend of Zelda, which if you've never watched that show, please go watch that show and cringe with the rest of us. It's
bad.
So misogynistic and so horrible that it's not a good representation of the characters. But okay, I will continue going on with what I'm talking about. But that not everything is on what we want. So trying to find something like that, like it could take a little bit of while to find. But what I was going at with before is not everything's on the streaming services. Like I bought the animated series of The Legend of Zelda so I could have it for my collection. And after I got that, I was like, hey, I remember there used to be a Mega Man cartoon. And there were several different ones. I can't find a single one on any of the streaming platforms, whether it be Tubi, whether it be Paramount, whether it be... Oh, yeah, no, there were several Mega Man cartoons. One of them was like, the Mega Man NT Warriors with like the Battle Network. There was one that came out in the 80s that has been sampled, some of the voice tracks for that. That one is just... It's up there with the Zelda stuff, but not as bad. And there's even one that came out on Nickelodeon probably like 6, 7, 8 years ago that you can't find. There's so much stuff that you cannot find on the streaming services that some people will want to watch. Like, it took me years to figure out that you could finally watch Rocket Power on Paramount Plus because it wasn't on there for the longest time. And that's one of my favorite shows.
Seriously, though, and it's companies holding out on their media, not knowing what to really do with it, number one. And just diving into what you kind of did there a little bit, my obscure one would probably be Clerks, the animated series, or Duckman.
Oh, yeah.
I have two adult comedies. I don't know why those are my more obscure ones, but it's just you would never find those anywhere. I don't think. Duckman might be on Hulu because of Alexander being involved in it, but It's
Clerks maybe on Tubi, because I think that's where like some of the other movies are and whatnot, and I could definitely see Kevin Smith aiming for that like more free stuff to give out rather than selling out and trying to get monies off of his stuff.
and then
But
yeah, for me,
yeah.
there's stuff like, you know, Mucha Lucha that I would love to go find a DVD of. Good luck trying to find that. Infinity Train, Book 3.
Season
Good
3.
luck finding that.
Yeah.
Mao Mao, Legends of Pureheart. Good luck finding that. OKKO, Let's Be Heroes. El Tigre. Code Lyoko, for God's sakes. Like,
Oh my god, aren't they coming out with a new Code Lyoko?
yeah, they are. I'm kind of geeked out about that, but like, and again, I'm just listing off
So
shows now
much
that I'm
forehead.
thinking about.
So much forehead in that show.
The PJs, if you remember that really obscure Cartoon Network, or not Cartoon Network, Comedy Central cartoon.
Here's one from Disney that most people forget that just came to Disney Plus. The Weekenders.
Yeah, dude, I know. I hunted those down. Oh, I also hunted down Braceface. Any of those who liked that show?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I hunted those down. I'll talk about my physical media more in a bit because, as my co-host
you
knows,
have so much more than I do. I just have
I'm
a bunch
getting
of
a little
old
crazy
movies.
about it, but it's for this reason, and that's why we did this whole episode. Like, it's getting to a point now where these streaming networks and these bigger corporations are just taking advantage of their consumers to the point where, like, they just think that they can pull the wool over the consumer's eyes for so long without something taking any kind of precedent. And I'm not trying to suggest anything in that regard, but like, you can only screw a customer for so long before you see something happen.
Yeah, it's the old adage of like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. That like, it's getting to the point of like, fool me 17 times, you owe me a Coke.
Got me.
I don't know.
You got me.
Yeah. Well, here's my money some more. It's getting to the point where it's like, come on. And I know that a lot of Gen Z out there is starting to understand that physical media good, streaming bad.
And physical media good because
there are some things that are coming back a little bit more. Like, you see a lot more physical CDs coming out. Like, I have a ton of albums here that I still love to listen to that is hard to find online. And one of my favorite albums is by Steve Burns, Steve of Blues Clues. He came out with a rock album that I think it's the Flaming Lips are his backup band while he sings, and it's absolutely wonderful. But you can't find that online easily.
And why it's so important for ownership, right? Like, clear and simple, I bought it, I own it. I don't have to worry about this licensing expiring. I don't have to worry about my Wi-Fi working. I have to worry that my electric's working. It's about it. And I don't have a company deciding to tell me where it is or where it's removed, or if I have a service that I bought specifically to watch a specific show, that you're not going to pull it a month later and then have me screwed.
Yeah. And just going back to what kind of kicked everything off, with Sony coming out saying, hey, January 2028, we are no longer creating physical games. We are no longer creating physical media for the PlayStation. Everything has to be digital. They've lost a lot of their fan base from hearing that, from like the older generation.
Oh my lord, I've seen that, and
seeing the backlash is just so juicy.
Radio silence on their end. Straight up radio silence on their social media platforms since they've announced it. They've been getting torched. So many memes.
Oh, yes.
So many funny memes.
It's getting to the point that I'm not going to look into getting a PS6. I mean, granted, I got my PS5 secondhand because one of my friends got a PS5 Pro. They were just like, hey, we're going to get rid of this. And I was like, I'll take it off your hands. So like, cool.
Right.
Still have to pay for it. Like, okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, I paid $250 for a PS5 with 2 controllers. that is just slightly used. Ooh. Do you know how many PS2s I bought back in the day because they kept breaking on me?
Like
From GameStop.
And you can also see how many people mod those things out too and add memory
God,
to them.
yes.
And it's like, yikes. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
And it's just absolutely disgusting to just see this starting to happen. And I know that we've kind of like in circles around what we're talking about, what we're kind of like getting into, but let's get back to the idea of like why it is so good to own the physical media.
And I would just boil it down honestly into 4 points. 1, ownership. I bought it. I own it. No worries. Number 2, preservation. You got to show these films to the next generation, just like our parents forced us to watch all of their classic films. We're going to watch, and our generation, whoever decides to have children in this ridiculous climate, will be able to show their children their favorite pieces of media. And the collectability, because at this point it's getting scarcer and scarcer and rarer to have pieces of physical media. And at this kind of juncture, I'm actually kind of in the idea of trying to build my own library of physical media because I'm getting so frustrated with how streaming services and corporations are acting with their stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I see you with actually my niece. She just started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and is absolutely loving it.
Thank God,
Great
but that's
show.
not going anywhere, you know? That's not a show that I would necessarily be worried about in terms of that's not going to go away from Netflix or anything like that, you know? That there's certain properties that, and that's a point too in all of this, like, you know that there's certain things that just will not go away from whatever streaming platform like they're on. But it's getting harder and harder to differentiate. Especially with companies buying out other companies, making mega brands. Like at the end of, I think it's at the end of this year or at the end of next year, I forget which, but Disney Plus will be absolving all of Hulu or vice versa, and it's just going to be one big app.
Disney has bought out like Hulu and ESPN, so all of that is just under one big corporation. So
it's just going to all be under Disney Plus.
You can watch Hulu on Disney Plus now. Disney Plus is not just the family-oriented stuff. There is a spot that like you can watch R-rated films. There's like spots for just adult things. Like on Disney Plus, you can watch the movie Prey from the Alien universe, which is visceral.
Yeah.
And awesome.
Yeah. It's become a mega company, and as much as I'm not happy about it, I still have a Disney Plus subscription to watch things like X-Men 97, to enjoy Andor, and seeing all of like the better shows that have been coming out for Star Wars and for the Marvel Universe. I got HBO Max for things like, you know, my Adult Swim content. I got stuff for my Adventures with Superman content.
They're even getting rid of some of that stuff.
I know. It's again, like I'm saying, I have this ridiculous vision one day in my life where I have enough animated media to make a physical front of a library for animated media and stuff like that. At the time of this recording, I have over 125 pieces of animated film or series. I'm always looking to add more at this point because it's becoming more and more scarce, but like it's a lot.
No, I hear you on that, and I feel you on that, and it really is a lot to try to have to deal with and try to have to find and do. And the one thing that we don't talk about enough with physical media, that really makes me sad for like all of the streaming services that are out there is you don't get extras anymore. You don't get fun things anymore.
Oh no!
You don't get to
And
see
it goes
you don't
straight
get to
to
see
YouTube if it
blooper
does.
reels. You don't get to see alternate endings. You don't get to see deleted scenes. That's one thing that I love about my physical media collection is I can like, do I watch that all the time? Hell no. Do I want to watch it? Yes, I do.
One of my favorite, and to your point here, one of my favorite pieces of blooper footage from a film that you could originally only find on DVD, but now is on YouTube everywhere, is Bruce Almighty and having Jim Carrey break in his scene with Morgan Freeman is one of the funniest bloopers in my entire life that I've watched. And you don't get to enjoy those kind of experiences anymore. Because they go straight to YouTube and they barely promote that it's there unless you are a rabid consumer taking the time to go see it in the theater, and they probably throw something on the back end of the movie to like, oh hey, you want to see some more stuff? It's on our YouTube page. Like, how does that help
even
anybody?
looking on Disney Plus, like there are some things that you can find for special features of like alternate versions of the movie. Like I'm looking at A Muppet Christmas Carol. You can watch the home release where it has an extra song in it, or you can watch the theatrical release that cuts out an entire song and you don't understand why Rizzo and Gonzo were crying.
Serious, like
there's just so much that like we lose with all of the streaming things, and going back to video games, of all the microtransactions that come in that just will you for more and more money. And it's not looking at just like the sports games, or it's not looking at games like Overwatch where, if you want to pay money, you just get skins and everything. It's not a pay to win or like a pay to play. But there are still a lot out there that the microtransactions just kind of, it's a swift kick in the taint that you pay $60 for the game. You're like, I want to play the game. And then it's like, oh, well, you finished up the regular story mode. Oh, you wanted the complete story mode? Oh, well, you have to give us another $30 on top of that. It's like, just let me play. Just let me play my single player games. And you're editing this. Just let me play, God damn it.
Like seriously, it's all it really is at this point. Like, are you that consumed with your corporate greed to capitalize on us as a consumer to get us to buy in on these microtransactions and make your wallet insignificantly fatter to you instead of saving us a mountain of money in our end?
Or even just taking a little extra time to complete the game. Oh, you need to get it out in a deadline. BS.
I mean, look at GTA 6. That's all I'm going to say. Take a look at GTA 6. They took forever to make that.
I was even going to say, you look at Tears of the Kingdom for The Legend of Zelda, and how they had, okay, this is coming out this year. Okay, we're in development. Okay, this is coming out this year. This is the release date for it. Okay, no, we're going to take an extra year to release it. We are sorry about this, people, but we're going to give an extra year to release it so that we can polish it. And they needed that year to polish stuff.
They needed to take a step back. And just like us, like as a consumer, I think a lot of people need to take a step back from the ease and convenience of having streaming and stuff that's just easily accessible to ourselves on the phones, and really start remembering to go hit up those yard sales, see what DVDs are floating around, go to those Barnes and Nobles, go wherever you find physical media and try and find something, because you don't know how long it's going to be there, and once you own it, you can pop it into that PlayStation or that Xbox that you own as long as you got a CD drive, which I know a lot of you don't anymore. I know I got my PS5 with a CD drive specifically.
Same. Or hell, you go out and get a Blu-ray player that usually is backwards compatible so you can play DVDs on it.
And the question I think I would leave on, if I were to say that this was the end of the episode, right? If this is the last thought I could have about the physical media power.
Before we get into that, why don't we just, do some quick fire, like, rapid questions just to say what our weirdest piece of physical media is and why we love it so much. Or like, what's something that, I don't know. Yeah, we'll just go with what our weirdest piece of media is and why we love it so much.
All right. Let me think about this, because obviously I've got quite a bit here. So I think for me, in terms of my nichest thing that I probably own, would be that Clerks the Animated Series, or something that I don't think people would necessarily think like, oh my god, but we own it, would be Red vs. Blue on DVD, on Blu-ray actually.
I love Red vs. Blue.
And again, something that was born of the internet, and oh my god, look at that. They took time, they came up with an anniversary release, and it's on Blu-ray. If you want it, it's out there right now. Make sure you go cop a copy. Make sure you go grab one, because it might not be there when you go look for it. It was on a ridiculous deal for Prime Day. My wife found it, scooped it up, but I would say that's probably my most obscure one, and I enjoy that one so much just because it's Red vs. Blue. How could you go wrong? It's Rooster Teeth. It's YouTube ridiculousness.
I love Rooster Teeth. I was so sad to see them close. I'm so happy to see that they've reopened, and there are just so many good things that I love about Rooster Teeth. I think the most obscure thing that I have is I have what I just call like my Legend of Zelda like legendary disc. That it was one of the ones that you could get when you first bought a GameCube. You could get this disc that went with it that had a GameCube version of Ocarina of Time, a GameCube version of Majora's Mask, and then The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2 Link's Adventure all on the same disc to play, along with a Wind Waker demo. That's one of my favorite things that I have that I will never get rid of. If you try to find that like on eBay or someplace like that right now, I bought it at a GameStop for like $60 when it was still used, but you can't find it for like less than like $150 nowadays in good condition.
It's ridiculous. I just thought of another one that I have too that I forget about. It's my wife's, but I still in our collection, I guess. Domo, if you remember that. Oh
my god, yeah.
We have that on DVD. So you ever want to watch Domo?
You're gonna say like Happy Tree Friends or something like that.
No, and you know what's sad? You know where I expect that my wife somehow managed to find a copy of this, and I'm slow.
Hot Topic.
I was about to say it's got to be Hot Topic.
It's Hot Topic.
It's Hot Topics.
An old school Hot Topic, yeah.
Like a 2000s Hot Topic.
When it was still thought it was edgy, and then it tried to become edgy, and it still thinks that it's edgy, but it's just mainstream. And don't get me wrong, I like Hot Topic.
My wife is shaking her head at me, so apparently she did not get Domo from a Hot Topic like my brain wanted to devise, but it must be like an FYE or someplace like that. It was a what?
It was a loot box that a friend got.
Oh, loot box. Okay, so you just happened to get lucky.
Yep.
Okay.
Even better.
Right? Like, how does...
All right.
So
I'm sorry to cut you off from before for wrapping things up, but why don't we wrap this up and finish up this mini-sode?
So, obviously, we're both a little biased in saying that physical media, we need to do it. Everybody should be collecting up on physical media. The question I think that this episode deserves to give its audience as a final question to think about is, are we, like anything else right now, are we entering a time period where physical media ownership is becoming more of a luxury and a rarity to people than not? And if so, what is it going to be for someone who is in what my school of thought is to start building this collection now before it all starts to go away, so that a future generation can go back and look on some of the stuff that's been missing for so long.
Oh, it definitely is a luxury, and I hate to say that because it shouldn't be a luxury. Well, I mean, even when we were kids, it was a luxury, and like things didn't cost a lot of money, but you could still find like, you know, $5 movies, like dollar movies from,
Dude,
dare
we're
I
old
say,
enough to remember
video stores.
Blockbusters. Yeah. We're old enough to...
Yeah.
I remember, and sorry to go on a quick diatribe literally right before the end of the episode here, but I remember in my childhood home as a kid, I could ride my bike down the block, around the school, and turn, and there was my video store. And as my nerdy 7 to 12-year-old self would go in there and rent every WrestleMania VHS that I could find and watch all these classic matches. One of my favorite core childhood memories is going to that video store, renting the WrestleMania where Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels had their Iron Man match and watching that with my older brother. That's like a core locked memory, but none of these kids and none of these younger generations are ever really going to experience that. Though I will say I'm very happy that the movie theaters are seemingly getting a nice bump in attendance, so that's at least encouraging on that end.
Yeah, no, it's good to see that people are going out to the movies to watch them, even if it is to just get a stupid popcorn bucket.
I almost got the Wee Man popcorn bucket.
I still need to go out to see Jackass.
It's so good. I
need to go out to see Jackass, and I need to go see Supergirl. But I think that, like, with all of this, yes, it is a luxury. But if you can afford that luxury, if you can enjoy that luxury, I think we have a duty to save this media so that future generations can watch it. Like, I know that you're trying to back up some of your stuff so that you can be like, hey, I can more easily share this with somebody, because that's what the thing is we need to be able to be a community that shares things again. We cannot be single-minded no more. In whatever we're thinking, none of us are just an island. No. Sharing is caring. And I think we need to get back into that, whether it be a movie, whether it be a video game, whether it be a hug.
Sharing the experience.
Need to share.
Sharing an experience of going to the theater and enjoying something as a theater community.
Oh my God, yeah. Laughing at the same time, laughing at an awkward spot, farting when somebody, you know, dies in a movie and people look at you the weird way. Yeah, it's a fun story. I'll get into it another point.
Last thing, real quick before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Me and my wife have seen a grand total of like 7 to 8 movies at this point. Jackass might have been the best one. We've seen Supergirl, we've seen Jackass, we've seen Digital Circus, we've seen Backrooms, we've seen Super Mario Galaxy. Jackass hit me so differently this time around. I couldn't tell you why. Maybe it was childhood nostalgia. Maybe it's because it's the last one. I don't really know. But all I can say, that's the movie so far that I think people need to go watch. Forget if you're tired of superheroes, if you're tired of really bad writing, AI writing, if you're tired of the same old, go watch an old friend be a dumbass and launch himself off a rocket into a lake.
The only thing that might beat that for the summer is going to be the new Spider-Man movie.
Let's make the joke now, if it comes out on time.
God, I hate you. Anyway, guys. Thank you for tuning into our little mini-sode. I hope you guys enjoyed our rant. Bigger episodes should be coming out hopefully soon once I'm done with all of my BS. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed everything. Good zone to all y'all. And I've been your boy, Steve.
I've been your boy, Rob. Good zone.
And-
Later days.
And remember, everybody, keep this podcast
weird. You're weird. You're a weird feller.
I have come to terms with that.
You have?
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into the ADHD podcast. We hope you've enjoyed our nonsense and whimsy. Please make sure to follow us on our social medias. Instagram at Animated Dysfunction Pod. Blue Sky at ADHDpodcast.bsky.social. And TikTok at Animation Dysfunct. Links below in the show notes. Check out our merch store on TeePublic. Links for that are also in the show notes. Thank you again for listening, and remember, keep this podcast weird.